This episode was made possible through the generosity of our supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to see videos and hear podcasts before everyone else, become a supporter of Liz Zorab on Patreon to support our work here at Byther Farm.
Hello and welcome back to the Byther Farm Gardening Podcast, and today I am super excited to be joined by my friend Alex Smith. Hello Alex.
Hi Liz, how are you doing? It's great to see you. I don't see you very often, but when I do,
it's good to chat. Thank you so much for joining us. Right, I am armed with a cup of tea, so if you hear tea type noises, you know what it is.
It's beautiful.
Are you armed with tea, drink, anything?
I have a very cold cup of coffee. I've been up very early doing some video editing, and this might be the 9 o'clock one. Where are we now? 10:30.
Yeah. Oh no, cold coffee. No. See, if you'd said, I was waiting for you to say it's a really cold gin and tonic.
Oh,
and I was thinking, it's a bit early in the morning, but hey, go for it. It's the weekend.
I used to be really exciting like that, but no, I've got a sports drink, I've got a coffee, and I've got my
Alex,
tired self.
I came to find out about you only last year, because you are now creating videos on YouTube, aren't you?
Yes, the best thing ever.
Best thing ever? I think so. Yes.
Creating videos on YouTube is one of the most fun artistic things you can do. It's great.
It's great. So would you mind sharing a little bit with the listeners, kind of who you are, where you're from, what your background is? Give us all the spiel. Tell us everything. And tell us something juicy gossip as well.
Well, my dad was an engineer and my mum was a receptionist. And I came to gardening quite late. I did a PhD in physics as my background. A bit of a scientist. Organic solar cells, that was my thing. And then during that time, I sort of knew I did lots of walking outside in the country. I learned to make bread and stuff like that. And I sort of very much knew that I wanted to start my own little small holding somewhere. That was sort of my big 5-10 year plan, that sort of thing. Yeah. And then I didn't really do anything with that until the pandemic hit. And then not even then until the second year of the pandemic, when I went really, really intense on growing my own food, really because where I was, it was really hard to get deliveries from the supermarket.
Yeah.
I also had a lot of time on my hands. And I thought I'd just grow loads of runner beans in little plastic tubs. So I had some moving boxes, filled it with soil. I don't know if that's food safe, but I grew a ton of runner beans, more than I could eat. Tomatoes, sweet corn, peppers, and this little patio that was horrible and grey. And it's an old military barracks house. It was an awful place to live, but it was a beautiful garden by the end of the season. And I got a little bit ill during that time. I spent a long time in the garden growing stuff, and I just fell in love with it pretty much overnight. It was one of those, to see something grow from a seed. It was I don't like using the word, but a spiritual sort of experience. It was like an awakening.
Absolutely.
And then again, I was still ill at this time, and I went, you know what? I'm not going to live here in this horrible grey barracks. I'm going to find a house with a nice big garden and just start something. So I used my sick leave to start a garden. So February 22, I moved here, created a massive garden. In about 6 weeks, I think it was ready to start producing. Nice. And then over that summer I must have done, I don't know, a few hundred kilograms. I did weigh everything and write it all down, and I did put it into a spreadsheet, but I didn't hit my target, which was 1 ton of food. So I didn't really put much effort into it, but it was a few hundred kilograms. It was a lot of food.
Let's just go back a little bit.
Yeah. That was a quick
spiel. You
spiel.
got a few hundred kilograms. You'd only had the garden going for 6 weeks when you started. You were new to the gardening experience, and you were disappointed that you didn't create. Alex,
I was really upset. I didn't make 1,000 kilograms of food. That was my goal. Yeah.
So
I don't do things in a small scale.
Feeding from your garden with your 1 ton of food?
Just me, and then some chickens came along later on. So. They got a lot of it, a lot of the chard and things. I think it must have been 200 or 300 Ks in the end. Mostly tomatoes, some of which are still in the freezer, unprocessed. But a lot of food.
I only ever just freeze tomatoes whole.
Yeah, so I can't
I
be
either cut
bothered.
them in half or whole, but I don't process them before I freeze them. And then because I really like being able to get up in the morning and pick out just some whole tomatoes and cook them for
Yeah.
breakfast, and I can pretend that they've just come out of the garden. I will fool myself in the middle of winter and go, these are like freshly picked tomatoes.
I didn't do that this year. The blight got to them really quickly, so I'm actually tomato-less, and that's a different experience once you've gone homegrown.
Yes. So how are supermarket tomatoes now you know about homegrown tomatoes?
Well, I also started budgeting a bit more, so they're terrible. They are the most waterful, tasteless, plastic. They're not really plastic, but they feel plastic. I don't know how to describe it. The skins are just, yeah, and they don't last very long. That's the most thing I noticed the most was that when you buy something from the supermarket, it doesn't last long, even in its nitrogen sealed plastic package.
Yeah.
If you get it fresh, it will last longer. It's really weird how much that transport impacts things. But
There are other
yeah,
things that I have been horrified by how long. So a few years ago, I bought some blueberries because
oh,
we weren't
every
sure
time.
whether we liked them or not. So, but I threw a packet in the back of the fridge and forgot about it. And 9 months later, they still looked perfect.
Oh, that's the opposite experience. What I was expecting you to say.
Yeah, no, it's
I
the
normally, I normally buy them and they're
frightened
moldy
me.
in the middle.
It really frightened me that a fruit could sit in the fridge for 9 months. It was like, what on earth is it being treated with? I don't want
I'm
to
not.
eat it.
I'm not sure you bought a blueberry there, Liz. I don't know. I've ever heard of one lasting more than a day. I mean,
Well,
that's
yeah,
that's
I think
interesting.
they must have been treated with something, but certainly it was one of those. I just looked at them and thought, yeah, I'm not going to eat those now after all this time.
No,
So,
no. And
so let's go back to your gardening experience. So you did this gardening, and then what made you take the step from, well, I'll grow some of my own food to I'm going to
mhm.
video growing my own food?
I wish I could remember the exact decision process because it was a big decision, really, wasn't it? To buy a camera specifically for it as well, and then I'm going to do this. It was Christmas year before last, I guess now, and I knew I wanted to do a lot more last year, so I wanted to really go big on more the homesteading angle actually, and do lots of cheese making. I started doing that a little bit, and woodworking, and I was already had chickens, but I wanted to sort of expand that a bit, maybe get another animal. Yeah, I really wanted to share that because I learned a lot, and I learned a lot so quickly, and then I noticed that I didn't remember anything and had to go and look it up.
Yeah.
And then two, I sort of went, it'd be quite nice to bring people along on this journey. So I started off vlogging with an actual, so Sony's, I'm not going to plug the camera actually, but it has really good stabilization. It's designed for vlogging. It's marketed as vloggers. So I'd run around fixing my chicken coop, holding, I thought that was really fun. I thought that'd be really quite exciting. And then, yeah, in the end, I didn't. I decided just making gardening videos, lots of tutorials, lots of how to do, and then become much more of an artistic thing. It was really, I wanted to document my progress, and I wanted to get better at being in front of people, really. So it'd been quite a few years. The pandemic took its toll in many ways, and one of them was that I used to be really darn good at doing presentations. Scientists are famously rubbish at talking in front of people, and we always had these big conferences, and we would get together to try and talk and present our results. It's always quite boring. So I went on this course where it's about trying to make that quite interesting, exciting, and adding value in terms of the experience when you get people together. And I hadn't done it for about 4 years, 5 years. And I've forgotten how to talk to anyone. The pandemic was really quite isolating for me. So yeah, I completely lost that entire skill set. So it's sort of all these things, but yeah, how do I improve my presentation? While also how do I remember what I've done? And yeah, just sharing this like learning journey. That was the idea. It was quite a nice, wholesome thing, really.
It does
And then it
sound like a
became quite.
really sensible and good combination of things that have come
It
together.
all aligned really nicely. Yeah, exactly. And then it started becoming a bit more, I don't know how to say it, but hard work, a lot more production,
Why
a
is
lot
it
more
hard
to
work?
edit. I put a ton of effort into my videos, way too much effort into my videos. It would take me, it shouldn't take, I don't know how to say it. I did a 6 minute video and it took about 100 hours, I think, to edit. And like, it shouldn't take
Wow.
that long.
No.
Every frame was perfect. It was on the beat. I was getting the mood of the music, spent 20 hours finding the right music, capturing all the B-roll. I mean, it used to be, yeah, it's very simple going out with a vlog and I'd put this 20-minute video out, and then it suddenly became this perfect, like crafting this video that was forever. It would live forever. That was the idea. And I'd get, it'd be really good.
Have you now found a happy medium where you're not spending so much time away from editing?
No, because
no.
No. So I just done a video. It's rendering right now because that's all I do. And I did it in a very different way, which was let's have 2 cameras set up. Let's just do it to camera and let's try and less B-roll cuts, less fancy stuff. And how can we bring down the editing time? Forget the filming time. Let's just do the editing time. And I got it down to about 5 hours to get most of it done. So I was really quite happy with that. That was a significant improvement. Similar sort of runtime, but then I started adding the music in, and I must have been up for about 2 last night, and it's challenging. It has come down a lot, but
yeah,
YouTube, they try and talk about doing 1 a week, and I can't do that. That's just too much for me.
Yeah, I think
I'm going to sleep for 4 days.
Down to, I usually say somewhere between 8 and 30 hours of editing, depending on how complex and how long, which actually makes it viable.
That's reassuring to hear, actually. Okay, so yeah, if I could hit 20, I think I'm on about 25 right now, so that's not too bad. And I shot it all in 1 day as well. I didn't have to go back and do more, so that's also a joy. So yeah, YouTube's lovely, guys, if you want to do it, but no, do it sensibly.
Yeah, the thing is, I think there are 2 things you can do. You can do the vlog thing, which I did, as you said. I started out doing the vlog thing.
So
but there comes a point where you go, do I want to keep on producing vlogs, or do I want to create something that is not a masterpiece, but something that in terms of production value you feel very proud of?
Proud is everything. Exactly. It's finding that.
And I wanted to
if you're proud of something, the views don't matter at that point.
Absolutely.
If you're proud, the views don't matter at all. And then that's a great video.
Yes.
Sorry.
So it's a great video, but how's the actual garden? Now, how is your garden? Here we are, February 2024.
Yeah.
It's an interesting autumn and winter. So we've had, well, where we live, it's been incredibly wet. But how's it been with you?
Trying to remember what happened. It was started off very, very cold, very, very suddenly. We had our March almost in November, and then it was very wet. And it isn't very wet. I'm in Cambridge, which is famously one of the driest parts of the UK. You get lots of droughts almost non-stop. And the chicken area was just completely, the chickens were falling over sometimes. It was so wet, so muddy. Never seen it this muddy before. The garden is a bit bare. I didn't do much winter planning. I'm really bad at winter. Very much an annual grower, and I don't really, I'm very short-term thinking. And then by the time it gets to September, it's kind of too late. So that's kind of the trap I fall into quite a lot.
There's an awful lot of growers who do that. And I think if that's what works, then it's absolutely okay. There's so much pressure and I pile the pressure on people by saying, you can be out there all winter. But the point is, it's you can if you want to, but it's not you have to be.
I know. The thing is, I had this lovely garden. It's about 0.1 acres. Let's just show off. I rent it. It's not mine. But it's so empty right now. And
sorry, how big is it?
0.1 of an acre.
Right.
Which is reasonable. With six sort of, I don't know how long an allotment bed is really, but they're quite long beds, the ones I've got. But they're all empty and they're not really doing much for me right now. And I feel like it's given how much time I put into gardening, and now it's such a lull in the year for me. I really feel winter, so I really want to get into it this year because I feel like I'm missing out in a big way. And my life is sort of not hollow, but there's something not there,
There is. I think the thing about winter is quite difficult because, like you, I don't do winter. I kind of go. I always talk about pajama o'clock, but pajama o'clock is like the end of November.
Okay, excellent.
Until now-ish, I'm just like not interested. I will go out and do the odd bits and pieces, but there are things to harvest if I want to harvest them. but you know, I don't feel any pressure to go out and be doing stuff in the garden. And I think winter is the time that we can have the very best gardens we could possibly ever have, because we have gardens in our imagination. So we can just dream. We can dream of what it's going to be like sometime. And
Well, this is a great thing about videoing is you can look back at I look back at all the old clips all the time and go, look at that, look at the lovely green yellows, and yeah, that's where I am right now. But then I go outside and then it's very
different.
bleak. Yeah, it's not great. And the chickens are looking at me going, "Oh, chard, I'll have some chard, please." And it's all been hit by the frost and I didn't cover it, and yeah, stuff like that. That's all.
It's I think it's a very common one, and I think it's one that actually we shouldn't beat ourselves up about. We should go, actually, it's winter, and
So we shouldn't ever beat ourselves up. You're right. I mean, there's always another year anyway. It's not like life isn't on the line exactly. There's no law which will say, yeah, no one has to go and garden. But
there's no hurry to start at whatever time.
I do like to use March and April to do all the clearing. A lot of people do their bed preps in November and December and stuff like that, and tidying up. I want that. I want to sleep, recover, and then I spend my March normally doing clear up. So I leave all the stuff for the ladybirds and things. That's kind of nice, I guess.
Exactly.
But being lazy kind of works that way. But
I don't think it's even being
it.
lazy. I think more and more people are recognizing that if you leave all the growth, all the stems, all the seeds, you're providing homes for insects, you're providing food for wild birds, and shelter for small mammals. And so actually that's a win-win, because what would be the point of gardening if we didn't have our wonderful wildlife?
Yes. Yeah, no, exactly. And it's lovely to have you need some marigold seeds in, March now even. Just go outside, they're still there, they're ready, they're fine, they'll be viable, I think. Probably. Wasn't that cold this year. So yeah, you can just go and take them from the fresh, almost from the vine, not quite.
Yeah. So shall we have a little campaign, you and I, Alex, to take the pressure off people? So this time next winter, we will do a concerted.
Put your feet up.
Yeah, let's put our feet up and make it a national thing. We don't pressure people. So having said that, I think last November, we met up in London because something exciting happened, didn't it?
It was outrageous. Yeah, it was really exciting. Where did we go? It was Savoy, was it? Wasn't the Ritz?
The Savoy in London, yeah.
Yeah, which in itself was amazing. But yeah, we were at the Garden Media Guild Awards 2023, and someone might have been nominated for 1 or 2 awards. Not sure who that someone was. Oh,
it was you.
Yeah, it was me.
So what were the 2 awards? Remind me the 2 awards.
The first one, I was nominated for the Alan Titchmarsh New Talent of the Year Award, I think it was called. And I was also nominated for Garden Video of the Year.
Yeah.
Which, by some miracle, I won, which is kind of cool. Go for a vlogger in January to Garden Best Video of the Year by August is outstanding. I didn't. Yeah, I'm still in shock over it. I'm lost for words still. I remember during the dinner when it was announced, I basically couldn't speak for about an hour afterwards, and yeah, I still struggle to find the words for it.
I was actually videoing you while they were reading the announcement. So I was at the same table as you, and I just kind of moved around a bit, and I was just videoing you, and you were like listening to what they were saying. And they were describing you perfectly, and the penny didn't drop, literally until they said the name of the video. And even then, you just sat there looking, and then I could just see you go, "Oh, that's me."
The thing is, I mean, you look at you go on the website, you can see all the nominated videos, and they all have this. They do I don't know how much videography people look at, but you see all those nice sort of sliding, polished shots, proper professional documentary, commissioned works, and then little old YouTuber just started out with a point-and-shoot camera, a little. It hasn't even got a lens; it's just got a built-in zoom, and suddenly you get an award. That was that was shocking.
Well, you're in good company, because I won it the year before. And
Yeah.
well, not quite. I want a slightly different award, but the
Yes.
category changed. So
Couldn't run again. Yeah.
yeah, so I've got that award forever now, because they're not going to be doing
Yeah. Reigning champ.
But yes, it is a really odd experience. So it's very surreal, and I still grin about it now. I have the award in my office, and everybody said to me, "What are
So
you going to do with it?" And I kind of went, "Oh, I'll just put it in a cupboard." But actually, I think it's a really good thing to have out.
I love walking past it. So I have to go past it to get to my desk when I do my editing. And it just reminds me that, don't worry about your output. Don't judge yourself. You're doing a really good job. And I think everyone needs to think that anyway. But yeah, that imposter thing, just get rid of it. And just
So
chuck videos out. It really helps for that.
Let's take that thought that you just said, and let's apply
Mhm.
that to your garden. You know, when you said you were really disappointed about not growing so much.
Oh yeah, I know. I think I do beat myself up quite a lot as well. So yeah, that's what I need to do. I'm really quite confident at the start of the year, and then towards the end of the year, I'll go, Alex, why did you do that? It's like in an edit. Why did you cut there? Exactly the same.
Well, gardens are great levelers. They teach us all the time. And just when we think, yeah, I know how to do that, nature teaches you that
Yes. I like to think of myself as a tomato guy, having grown so many hundreds, and the blight really hit early last year, and that was an
right was
overweighting.
horrible last year.
It was, wasn't it? I was surprised. It came so early. I did it all vertically, did it how you should to minimize disease. I did a video on avoiding pests, and I went, darn, that's end of September, and there's a little bit of blooming on the leaves, and then it went immediately. By October, it was gone. So yeah.
And yeah, blight is an incredible thing, isn't it? It hits potatoes and tomatoes, and they're just like there one minute and then gone
Yes.
the next.
I've never grown a potato. That's my biggest imposter moment.
So are you going to
Never
do it
grown a
this year?
potato. Yeah, I will. Yeah, last year I couldn't eat many carbs, and this year I'm going to go. I've gone big on it, so yeah, I'm going to go loads and loads of potatoes in nice big buckets. I think is what I'll do, and then I've got a nice big patio,
Yeah.
and yeah, see what we do. I don't know. I understand the first early, second early, but I probably missed first early now. I'm not sure. I don't really know.
No. Oh,
We'll find out.
No. You're still
No,
loads of time. Loads of
teach me,
time.
Liz. What am I doing? Yeah, I'm such a. This is the thing about teaching yourself and being relatively new, and then putting out stuff. You're always like, do I actually know enough? There's always that imposter element.
I will plant potatoes up to middle end of August.
Oh, that's the rest of the year. Oh, we've got ages. Yeah, okay, never mind then.
So, you know, end of July, early August ones, you're going to harvest at Christmas. So you'll need to be able to take them in somewhere warm. Well, you know, as the frost comes. But yeah, you know, you're not going to have huge main crop potatoes the later in the year that you plant them. But lots and lots of people plant potatoes on St. Patrick's Day, which is middle of March. So she says questioningly. I ought to know this, shouldn't I? I think it's March the 17th.
I mean,
March the 18th.
I bet you know when Christmas is, so you know, I'm fine. It's fine.
So yeah, no, I think most people will sow potatoes sort of from late February to late March, even into April, and they're going to be absolutely fine. So you've got plenty of time. And so I'm going to request that you actually video that experience.
First time potato grower.
Yeah, because there is something just so wonderful about harvesting potatoes, and it doesn't matter whether it's your first time or your 40th time for doing it. There is still something wonderful because you don't know how well they've done until you lift the plant.
Oh, I see.
Or until you tip the bucket out, or until you plunge your hand into the soil. You just have no idea.
Can you not peep around like you can with carrots? Just brush around the... No, okay.
Because
I love doing that, just cheating there. Okay.
Yeah, no, with carrots, that's really satisfying. You can go, oh, yeah, no, that's not quite big enough yet.
I love that, yeah. Okay, interesting. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Have you got one that stores well, Liz? I'm really quite into my garlic. I'm still using garlic I harvested in like July, and I can't get over that.
That's amazing,
It's
isn't
a
it? So no,
yeah.
I
Have you got a
don't.
good
But
storer?
I don't choose to store potatoes. So I eat potatoes fresh, and I don't harvest them all at once. I tend to do one plant at a time, or maybe two plants at a
Okay.
time. And then when the potatoes are all gone, I then go on to other carby veg that will sit in the ground over winter.
Okay. Your
So I
carrots,
will
parsnips.
carrots, parsnips, celeriac,
Oh
um,
yeah, that's the other one. Yeah.
and also I will replace that carb with beans. So not green beans, but the beans
Ah.
inside beans. And there's one that I grow a lot that's called Greek gigantes. So it's a runner bean.
Mhm.
It is huge. You don't grow it for the green pod, purely for the beans on the inside. And they are, I'm doing signs at you so you can see how big they
So
are, which
it's like
doesn't really help. But they're
if a
anything from like,
£2 coin was twice the size. That's what that looked like.
yes, they are huge. They are huge.
Yeah.
And they taste like buttery mashed potato.
Interesting. Greek.
Greek
I've got one already.
gigantes.
Greek gigantes. I haven't got a pen. I'm going to write that
That's right.
down
Well,
though.
I'll tell you what, I'm going
Yeah.
to leave that in the show notes.
Yeah. Please
They
do.
are absolutely wonderful. Gigantes beans are great. They're big. It's a white bean on the inside of the pod, and
Mhm.
really does it kind of, well, for us it just replaces potatoes.
Okay. That's a really interesting idea. I've not tried doing dried beans. I did actually. No, I did do it one year, but I sort
Oh,
of
I
ate
don't
them
dry them.
really early.
Oh,
So
Alex, I don't dry stuff
do you not
because
preserve? Oh, okay.
I'm not organized enough to think I might
No.
eat some beans tomorrow. I better soak them overnight. So I cook them and I freeze them in
Oh, you
portion-sized
freeze them.
containers.
Oh, I see. That's very clever. Okay. So you just do your batch cooking sort of in stages. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'm not really. That's the bit I've not worked out yet. Is the preserving side. So my garlic's just in a tote bag that I had lying around, right? So yeah,
perfect.
okay. Interesting. So
Mine is in
freezing
a
cooked
basket on the
beans.
kitchen side. It's in, it's no different. But yeah, so things like those beans, yes, of course you can do dried beans, and I should advocate that people do dried beans, unless you're like me and are so disorganized that you don't actually know what you're going to be eating today, let alone tomorrow.
Yes, I bought a ton of mason jars, and they're just empty right now. And instead, I just use the freezer. I sometimes parboil runner beans, sometimes French beans, sometimes. Other times, I just risk it. That's about as far as my preserving has got. And that was the idea last year. I wanted to do homesteading, but I just ran out of time with all these videos. That was the
I
issue
have
for me.
been homesteading for about 5, 6, maybe, yeah, about 6 years before I started using a pressure canner. And although I do pressure can stuff, it still terrifies me. So
Just big
so my
explosion in the kitchen.
yes. So no, it's not even that. It's that have I definitely preserved it and get
Oh,
rid of the botulism. And so my
yeah,
fright is every
good
time
point.
I open a jar, is this going to be the last one? And it's
Oh, gee.
and
Yeah,
of
okay.
course, all the instructions you are given, if you follow
Mhm.
USDA, so that's the American
Yeah,
system, as long as you follow their instructions properly, your food is going to be safe because they give you guidelines that make sure it's absolutely safe. I wouldn't ever advocate going off script in terms of what their advice is, because people do.
no.
People can all sorts of very odd things, and I kind of see them and I go, uh,
I can imagine you there with 3 thermometers just making sure it hits temperature, and you just
um,
can't trust one.
oh, okay. So if if you're doing pressure canning, it has a pressure dial on the top of it, so you know that it's getting to
Look,
where it should be. But even so, I still in the back of my mind just think, is this the one? So I was chatting to someone the other day and they were saying how nice it was when you garden, you walk back to the house with like a big basket or a bucket full of veg and arms full of veg, and then you kind of go, oh no, because that's only half of it. It's the preparing it to eat is the other half of the work. And I think lots of people think, oh, gardening is about growing, but it's as much about preparing and cooking as it is about growing.
Again, I'm not organised either. I love cooking, but I'm not organised to work out when I need to have a certain kind of food in to cook something with, which is why I got chickens to some extent.
Yes.
If I don't know what I'm doing, I'm like, oh, that needs to go now, so you can have some for a lot of things anyway.
We have got just a couple of minutes left, so I would I'm going to just ask you, if you don't mind, reminding people where they can find you on social media and YouTube and all of those things.
So I'm mainly on YouTube at Alex Grows Food. That's my account. I'm also on Instagram if you really want to follow. That's alex.grows.food. The other one wasn't available. And I've also got a website that I'm sort of relaunching, which is alexgrowsfood.com. I'm sort of trying to put my grow guides into text form and embedding the videos into there. That's sort of the idea with the website, really.
Brilliant.
But yeah, you can find me at any of them. But yeah, the YouTube channel is where I do spend all my time. And as soon as this call ends, I'll be uploading something because that's all I do now.
Brilliant. All he does, he says. Alex, thank you so much for joining me. And hopefully we will see each other again very soon.
Yeah, I'm sure in the next couple of months, the weather warms up and the light comes home.
Yeah.
Well, see you again. Thanks. Good to see you again, Liz.
Cheers.
The podcast you've been listening to is a Byther Farm production. All rights reserved.